Welcome to my channel, and thank you for joining. Now, in today's episode, we're going to discuss one of the most important games for our Supercoach teams. Not the most, but one of the most, which is the Adelaide and Brisbane game. And do we have some news and some players to present to you from this game? Just comment down! Now, I'm going to start first with the Brisbane Lions. And we're going to discuss a few players now. Actually, let's put up the Supercoach scores, make it proper, okay? Highest to lowest, okay? Now, let's start from Zorko the Magnificent first. Now, how do you not start with Zorko? The problem is his price, 600k, and a round 3 buy round, but he plays Richmond in round 4. He could go 160. Okay, he could do anything. We saw Richmond play Collingwood, and they scored like 200 behinds. He could have 200 kick-ins, and he could go nuts. He takes all the kick-ins, and we had fears that when Kitty Coleman comes back, Zorko may lose that role. Well, apparently that's not so. Apparently Zorko will not lose his role, so he's still going to do what he does. That's according to Lachie Neale from a report that I just read before on Twitter. So, Zorko the Magnificent, if you don't own him, I don't know how you're going to be able to watch him. Okay, now, let's talk about Lachie Neale now. Same problem. Okay, now, he also plays Richmond in round 4. He can also go nuts. So, it's going to be a tough watch. Not owning any of these two players, and it's going to be hard to own them. Okay, so they're going to be pods, and whoever is lucky enough and has the coolionis to start them at the start of the season, knowing they got a buy round, may benefit big time. Okay, so keep an eye, because Lachie Neale, he went nuts. Scored a 112. He was in first gear. He didn't go in the second gear at all. Had 30 touches. Zorko the same. They didn't change gears, and they were going nuts. Now, Berry is not Supercoach relevant, so we're going to pass on Berry. The next one is Will Ashcroft with 24 touches, scoring at 93. Okay, however, his brother, 23 touches, scored a 90. It's the same thing, okay? It's virtually Will Ashcroft and Levi Ashcroft is the same thing, but one of them is 200k cheaper, actually more than 200k cheaper, about 250k cheaper. Levi could actually end up being better than Will Ashcroft, and Will Ashcroft is he's a Norm Smith medalist, okay, so, and Levi could be better. That's how dangerous this could become for non-Brisbane Lions support. Well, Brisbane Lions supporters will be wrapped. The rest of the competition are going to be fearing them now, because they got some of the best mids now, and Levi Ashcroft is a sub-risk, okay, but at the same time, he isn't. If he plays, he's gonna, scoring. Actually, he scored 80. What did he score? He scored 80 Supercoach points. Sorry, I was wrong for the thing, but even 80, okay. He didn't try. He didn't do nothing, and he scored 80, 200k, 185k, I think 190k. It's a good deal. Now, Dunkley as well, he scored a 78, but these scores don't matter, okay? Dunkley is Dunkley, okay? We know what Dunkley can do. We know what Lachie Neale can do and Zorko can do. So Dunkley is going to be a player that we're probably not going to start, okay? Because if I was going to choose between Dunkley and Lachie Neale, I'm going to pick Lachie Neale, okay? So Dunkley you may have to look at after, probably during the bye rounds, the second lot, okay? So probably pass on Lachie Neale, Dunkley for now. I'm going to go for this quickly today, because it's 1 o'clock in the morning now, and I have to wake up in about 5 hours' time. So we're going to go through all this now. And are there any players here worth looking at besides the ones I've mentioned? Well, there is one here. Let me find him. He's here somewhere. I can't even see him. Gallup. Okay. I think he had 52%. What is it? 52% time on ground. So about half the game. Over half the game. and only scored 24. Okay, so he wasn't galloping. He was walking. Okay, if it's a horse, it's a donkey. Okay, just calm it down. We now go to Adelaide, and Dawson, 111 Supercoach points. Is a Jet. He was also in second gear, and you actually got a picture of a Jet there. Played a bit of forward, played a bit of midfield, kicked 2 goals. He's kicking. Last year we saw it was terrible at the start, but he had a sore foot. Now his foot isn't sore anymore, and those kicks are deadly again. So at 550k, I think it's a bargain. Okay, and I've got him in my team right now. I don't know if I can keep him in my team because I've got so many players I want to bring in, so I don't know how I can hold on to all these players that I want. But Dawson is a Jet. Matt Crouch, last year he was cheaper, it was 450k. This year he's actually more expensive than Dawson, so I probably pass on Crouch because the problem with Crouch is the time on ground. It's still the same, 66%. That engine hasn't improved. Okay, so he doesn't get much time on ground, but when he gets that time on ground, he goes nuts. Now, player of interest was Alex Neil-Bullen. Okay, and he actually did well. I scored a 95. And we're not going to see him again. Okay, and I've got no heat maps to search him up. It's a decent score. We're going to check out his price later on and work out if it's worth it or not. So he did well with the 20 disposals. Riley O'Brien, I don't think is one of the top elite ruckmen this year, so I'll probably pass on him. The one I want to talk about is Isaac Rankin. I was hesitant to start him. I was told he's going to get more mid-time. I didn't believe it. Okay, I couldn't see it happening. It happened. He had the most CBAs of all the Adelaide players. Now, looking at the Adelaide CBAs, okay, Rankin was leading. Crouch and Dawson came in second. Peatling and Saligo. Now, Saligo started like a house on fire. Then the coach moved him onto the wing. Now, we don't know where the coach is going to play him now. Because Draper looked incredible and only played 1.5 quarters. We're going to talk about him in a minute as well. But I think the midfield is going to be Crouch, Dawson, Rankin. These 3 are the main ones. Okay, Crouch only has 66% time on ground. So remember when Crouch comes off, Peatling comes on. Saligo comes on. But where does Peatling fit in? Because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So they're going to be really limiting their time, midfield time. Okay, Phil Thorpe was playing as the ruckman, so he was sharing O'Brien's ruck duties. So Rankin getting the most CBAs, absolutely promising, and he looked like Jets. Okay, and he averaged about 120 when he had high CBAs last year. If he goes at 120, he's only priced at 520k. That price you're not going to see anymore. Now, going further down, we look at Rory Laird, and unfortunately for Rory Laird, the roll isn't there. He scored an 86. He may go at 95, okay, maybe go at 100. He doesn't have the kick-ins, playing half-back, no more mid-time. In our Supercoach, he's only eligible to play midfield. I'd pass on Laird. Saligo, in the first half, was a man on fire. Ended up on 84 Supercoach points. The role, is he a full-time mid or not? Okay, we don't know. And the unknown is scary. So he's about 450k as well, not cheap. I'd rather spend 450k on a player that I know is going to play midfield full-time than play midfield and a bit of wing. So probably going to pass on Saliga, but that's up to you if you want to pick him or not. Going further down, Peatling. Same problem, okay? Bit of half forward, bit of wing, bit of midfield. I wanted more midfield from Peatling, okay? I was hoping he'd get about 50 to 60%. He's not going to get that. He may get 40%, and I don't think that's enough. You're spending 335k. You can get these 200k rookies that could do the same thing, even cheaper than 200k. And we saw Tassatsis in that midfield. at 200k what he can do. Why spend 350k? So I'm not sure on Peatling now. And if you go further down, there's Draper. Played 39% time on ground, 1.5 quarters. He scored 60 Supercoach points in 1.5 quarters. Peatling scored 70 Supercoach points for the whole game. Now work that out. So why would you pick Peatling when you got Draper? The only problem with Draper was he was a sub, so he may be the sub again. But surely, even if he's a sub, I'll pick him. I'll start him because I know in the second or third game he won't be sub no more. So eventually he's not going to be a sub, and you can't get him. So I might as well get him while I can. So if he drops to, let's say, 170k with a couple of sub-par performances as a sub, it doesn't matter. At least I got him in the team. So if I see him start, I'm gonna have to pick. I'm gonna have to grab him. Pedler is a pass. Okay. Curtin pass. Keys. Some people were talking about. I know a couple of friends of mine that were mentioning Keys, and I told them don't do it, and that's the reason why. Okay. 34 Supercoach points. Don't worry about him. And that's pretty much it. Okay. There wasn't much more else to report in this game, and let's go through all these players proper now. So in defense, we have Supercoach relevant players. Zorko the Magnificent, okay, and his ownership at the moment is only at 4%. Massive pod, okay. I think it was even at 3% before this game. If you're gonna have him, you're gonna cop maybe a 40 or 50 point loss. Then you got a pod because no one can get him until later. He's gonna be expensive. Who's gonna afford 600k or six? You might even go 620, 630k. No one can pay it until around round 8 or 9. So you're going to have 8 or 9 weeks of good scores from Zorko. And if you have a look at Brisbane's draw, the draw is really good. Let's have a look. Now, you're going to see him in action next week against Sydney. Now, last time he played Sydney, he played Sydney in round 1. Okay, so I don't know who plays in round 0. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. But in round 1 against Sydney, he scored 129 the last time he played against them. Plays West Coast, then he plays Richmond, then he plays the Dogs, then he plays Collingwood, then he plays St Kilda. All 7 of these teams give away points. Actually, so does Gold Coast. So all 8 of these teams give away points to defenders. Possibly even North Melbourne. Actually, the whole lot of them do. All 10 teams you can see here give points to defenders. Zorko could go absolutely nuts. The best of Zorko is here, okay? Because later on, you can still get him. All right, you're still gonna have a good draw, but there's no Richmond there. Okay, there's no North Melbourne there. There's no Gold Coast there. That's all at the start. Okay, that's where you get him. And there's no St Kilda there. There's no St Kilda here either. So you got all these good games at the top end, not the bottom end. Zorko for me is a must-have. At 4%, especially at 4%, I can't believe this. So he's locked in my team now. He was in my team, then out of my team, and in my team, and now he's locked in my team. Now, who else was there in defence that's Supercoach relevant? Let's have a look. Let's go down. Okay. And there wasn't many, okay? There's actually nobody. The only one is Kitty Coleman, and we're expecting him back in round 5, okay? So he should be back in round 5. Wayne Milera was also injured, didn't play, okay? So we don't know much about Milera. Is there anyone else? That's pretty much it. So there's not a lot of players Supercoach relevant, but the ones that are very relevant, okay, in this game. Hence, there's going to be a quicker review. Lockie Neal is 9% owned. He's a pod. Zorko 4%. Lockie Neal 9%. Josh Dunkley 1%. Another pod. Okay, now these are all pods. They're all going to cop a 50-point loss in round 3, but they got good draws. Going to Adelaide, a few Adelaide players. Dawson is 550k. Last year he started at 650k. He's 100k cheaper than last year, and last year he had a foot injury, which reduced his scoring. We could see him go back to about 650k again. His kicking is back to elite again, back to how it was towards the back end of the year. So I'm expecting big things from Dawson this year. Going down, we've got. Actually, he's going to be a forward, so we'll go to him later on. We've got Saligo. The coach is Nix. I'm not sure what he's going to do with Nix. So and I think Nix has been talking to Bevo. That's the problem. And Bevo and Nix have come to an agreement that let's kill some of our players and don't let them score too much. Okay, so I think Saligo is a bit scary to own right now. There's James Peatling at 350k, but if you're going to pay 350k for Peatling, you can grab a player like Levi Ashcroft at 185k, and I've probably missed the other Ashcrofts. Where is he? Okay, there's another one here. Will Ashcroft at 441k. I'd rather grab Will Ashcroft than Saligo. Okay, even if with Will Ashcroft having that buy, but I'd rather grab Levi Ashcroft than Will Ashcroft. Okay, even if Levi Ashcroft is a sub, I wouldn't mind grabbing him still. Same with Draper, which we're going to put up here now, because they're going to be subs, okay? But at the end of the day, if they play round 2, how are you going to bring him in? Because you didn't bring him in round 1. Your team's already set. Your rookies are all balanced. You got, let's say, 120k rookies here. You can't bring in a 190k player. We're going to get the cash from. So either you start them or you don't. So these are jet players. They're not the average players that we had in previous history, previous years. Okay, forget the history, but previous years where some of the rookies were subs for 3 or 4 weeks back to back. These players won't be subs every week. Okay, so even if it's the first week, it doesn't matter. Any other Supercoach relevant players here? No, that's about it. In the ruck, there's nothing of interest. Darcy Ford's 190k, but I don't think he's going to. We've got McInerney playing again now, so forget about Darcy Ford. In the forward line, you got to find room for Isaac Rankin now. He's going to finish at F1. He's going to be the best one. At F2, it's going to be the horny man. They're going to rotate. They're going to switch every second week, F1, F2. You can't not have one, and you can't have one and not the other. You need to have both, I think. So I don't know how you're going to do it, okay? I don't even know how I did it, but I've managed to fit them both in, okay? And fit Zorko in, and fit Levi Ashcroft in. I don't know how I did it, but I sort of managed. I even got Dawson in, okay? So it's very hard, but it's got to be done. Is there anyone else? Let's have a look. We're going down. Rochelli's not Supercoach relevant, I don't think. I think we have to go for the cheapos now. Who are the cheapos? We've got Dan Curtin. Okay, we've got Pedler. I think both of them is going to be a pass because of their price. Because you got to fork out 185k here, 190k there. You're not going to find enough cash for these, so I'd probably pass on both of them. Cash is a problem, and Gallup. Okay, he wasn't galloping. Okay, so we're gonna see how he goes. Maybe his job security is there. If it's there, maybe do get him. Okay, and just leave him on the bench. Okay, and let's see what he can do. Let's see if he bolts or gallops. Okay, we're gonna find out. Just come on down. This has been a very short video. I apologize, but I had to cut it short because it's my bedtime. Okay, and it's time to go to sleep. Okay, I'm gonna have to wake up early. So thank you for joining, and remember one thing. It's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. Ciao for now.
That's all, folks.